Hi everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to obtain data from online sources. And over here you can see a Wikipedia link to the demographics of Singapore. So if you scroll down, you can actually see many different tables found on Wikipedia. And now let's say you are interested in the first two tables. The first one is on population size and growth by residential status. And the second one is by gender composition of resident population. Now let's say you are interested to merge these two tables using year as a unique identifier. Now take note that in the first table, year is actually the first column, whereas in the second table, the year is the first row. So today we will need to do some further manipulation before we can do the merge of these two tables. Now let's first copy this URL and head back to our Excel. And today I'm going to introduce you to a new way of getting data. So under the data tab, you can actually click on this button over here that says from web. And from there, you can actually input the URL given earlier and click on OK. So this will actually obtain all the different tables from the Wikipedia link we have seen earlier. Now let's say earlier we are interested in gender composition and also the population size. Okay, so once we are happy with the selection, we will move on to transform data. And this will introduce a new table. Right, so there are, of course, the two tables that we're interested in earlier. But here you realize that year appeared a few times, right? So we will need to do some manipulation. Essentially, we have to remove the first two rows. So you can do that by clicking on transform. And from here, you can see this second icon that says use first row as header. If you click on it once, you realize that you essentially remove the first row. If you click on it another time, this is what we want. We want the year, the total population, and so on to be the header. Right, so the first table is actually done. So now let's move on to the second table for the gender composition. Now here, we have a few issues. Of course, we need to bring down the year as a row. So to do that, we actually need the reverse, use header as first row. So this will bring down the row of years. And then from there, we need to transpose the data. So transpose will actually make your row into columns. So here we have 5 different rows. We want to make them columns, right? So if we click on transpose, you realize that all the years are now in my column 1. This actually fits the one of my initial table, right? But you realize that row 1 is now the label. So to make it the header, so we once again click on this icon to make it a header, right? So essentially we are done. We have these two tables, right? So going back to our home, we can actually click on close and load. So this will bring in the two different connections. And from there, we are ready to do our merging. Let's recall to do our merging, we click on the data tab, click on get data, we combine queries, and we click on merge. So next, we choose gender composition again as our second table. And from there, we need to specify to merge based on the years. So this will return 13 rows out of 16. Clearly, you see that there is no 1950 in the second table, right? That's why there is one missing row. And also for 1955, it is also missing, and so on. There should be another third one that is missing. That's why you only have 13 out of 16 rows. So here, if we click on OK, we will get the table that is being merged. But of course, let us remember to remove the year that is repeated. But actually, let us just select the year to show you how it's done. Right, so On the left, you can see that for the first row, we have 1950. And because there is no 1950 in the first table, the table for gender composition, that's why you see it as a noun. Likewise, for 1955, it is a noun. So once you're happy with the data, you click on close and load. And finally, you get the table called merge1. This is essentially the table that you need. So here we have successfully combined two tables through the merge function, as well as obtaining data from a Wikipedia link.